Okay, you get your annual blood work back. Everything is marked within normal range, but you feel off. You feel maybe tired. You feel foggy. You're gaining weight just looking at a salad. You're not crazy. You're experiencing the Grand Canyon sized gap between laboratory normal and optimal metabolic function. The standard panel is basically looking for a 5 alarm fire. It's not looking for the smoldering electrical wiring that causes the fire 10 years later. Today, I'm giving you the decoder ring. We're going to look at the exact 3 tests and calculations that can spot insulin resistance 5 to 10 years before it becomes pre diabetic. This is not about moving from reactive to proactive medicine. No, you're about to actually learn how to read your blood work and how functional medicine goes a long way. I'm Belinda Dow. Welcome to my channel. Let me break down the science for you. Test number one, the superstar, the MVP, the test that is almost criminally absent from standard panels. It's fasting insulin. They always check your fasting glucose, the sugar in your blood, but by the time that starts to actually creep up, you've been insulin resistant for years. It's like showing up to a crime scene after the burglars already left with your TV. We need to measure the effort, the hormonal drama, basically. Here's my favorite analogy. Imagine your blood sugar is the water level in a bathtub. The fasting glucose test just measures the water level. Normal means it's not overflowing. Great. But what if the drain is completely clogged with hair? The water level might still be okay, but only because your pancreas is in there frantically bailing water out with a tiny bucket, which is insulin. And high fasting insulin means your pancreas is working overtime. It's bailing like crazy to keep the glucose level normal. It's exhausted, it's sweating, it's pleading for help. Eventually, it will get tired and the bailing slows and then the tub overflows. That's high fasting glucose. We want to catch that frantic bailing early. So let's talk about numbers. How do we figure out if that's what's happening in my body? The optimal range for fasting insulin, basically, if you want, I'm going to be talking in micro international units per milliliter, less than 5. Some experts say it should be under 3. But I'm going to say like a good solid range is between 5 to 8. Early warning sign would be 8 to 10, I would say. Significant insulin resistance is greater than 10. And here's the thing. Here's the shocking part. Many lab work that says normal ranges goes up to 24.9. You might actually see that your insulin is normal. It's below 24.9. That's likely saying a resting heart rate of 120 is normal because you're not technically having a heart attack yet. It's nonsense. So when you actually go to see your doctor, if you are feeling all of these symptoms and you know there's something wrong, but your blood work looks normal, you got to come and tell your doctor, listen, I'm trying to be very proactive with my metabolic health. So could you please put fasting insulin along with it? I struggled with this for years and with many doctors. I don't know why they are so stubborn when it comes to insulin, fasting insulin, but this is very important. Number 2, the very powerful proxy triglyceride to HDL ratio. This is also a test that doesn't get put on your lipid panel enough. Why? Because the triglyceride to HDL ratio is actually a very brilliant little sign to insulin resistance. Take it like insulin resistance leaves like little fingerprints on your lipids. It's like metabolic graffiti. Here's exactly what happens. High triglycerides means that excess insulin tells your liver, hey, package all of this unused sugar into these little fat packets, and this is what we call triglycerides. Low HDL, which is your good cholesterol, means that high insulin puts a brake on HDL production and speed. So it speeds up its clearance. It's like kicking your best defender off the soccer field. So when you calculate it, you take your number of triglyceride and divide it by your HDL number. Use the unit you have in the US. That's usually milligrams per deciliter or mg/dl. What does this ratio mean? It's basically an ideal phenomenal metabolic health. A ratio of less than 1 means you're good. Greater than 2 means there's a significant problem. And red flashing means 3 to 4. The ratio is often a strong predictor of heart issues and insulin resistance than your actual LDL cholesterol. If this number is high, it's your metabolism waving a big red flag saying, hey, we have an insulin problem here, regardless of what your total cholesterol says. I'm going to call this one the gold standard. The gold standard HOMA-IR. HOMA-IR is basically insulin times your glucose divided by 405. HOMA-IR stands for Homeostatic Model Assessment of Insulin Resistance. It sounds fancy, but it's just a way to combine your fasting insulin and your fasting glucose into one powerful score. This is the research gold standard. This formula has to be calculated to actually understand where you are in insulin resistance. The formula is simple. Like I said, it's your fasting insulin multiplied by your fasting glucose divided by 405. Again, you want to use insulin and glucose in mg/dl. Let me show you some examples so it's actually crystal clear. If we're talking about a healthy example, insulin is 4, glucose is 85, and we're multiplying and dividing that by 405, it's 0.84. Beautiful, ideal. Early warning sign, we're talking about insulin being 8, glucose being 95. We're doing the math, we're getting 1.87. Significant problem, we're talking insulin is 15, glucose is 100. We're doing the math, 3.70. This is a major red flag. How we interpret HOMA-IR. If we have less than 1, it's optimal insulin sensitivity. You are a glucose processing ninja. 1 to 1.9, it's early or mild insulin resistance. It's time to change our lifestyle a little bit. 2 to 2.9 is a significant insulin resistance, and it's your metabolism is calling for help. 3 and above, we have severe insulin resistance, and this is your total wake-up call. This single number is your metabolic report card. You can track it over time to see if your diet and exercise are actually changes are actually working at the cellular level, not just weight. Is your insulin coming down? Is the score, is it showing the truth of what's happening? All of these matter greatly, and most doctors do not actually write them. Knowledge isn't just power, it's agency. These numbers are your dashboard. You're moving from guessing to measuring, from passenger to pilot. So this is basically what you need to know for your next doctor visit, especially if you have symptoms and no diagnosis, or all of your blood work looks completely okay. You need to go out and tell your doctor, I don't know why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as symptoms, but I would really like to do my fasting insulin. I would really like you to write me also my triglyceride to HDL ratio. And I also want to be able to calculate my HOMA-IR and talk about it with your doctor as well. You could do the HOMA-IR yourself, but first we need the fasting insulin to figure out that number. I would say if you even have an old lab work that isn't too far gone, or even if it is years before, calculate these. See what if you have done fasting insulin. If you haven't, at least do the triglyceride to HDL and the HOMA-IR if you can. In the comments, I want you to share, without personal details, but your ratio. What's the biggest aha moment that you've seen with old labs or with new labs? If it all kind of makes sense to you now. If you want more actionable, take control of your health data, make sure you're subscribed. Next time we'll be talking about another big topic that has to do with insulin resistance, of course, and just moving you one step closer to understanding your body more and figuring out how to manage these symptoms. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.